Hello once again. Let me bring my mic closer to me. Hello once again. It is I, Golden Drummer 730. Oh boy! It's time to play games. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right. So, the last time we did the Alliance Alive, well, we beat the game. Crazy enough. So that was a lot of fun. And so today is the bonus / review episode that I so promised that I would do. Looking at the world map, we can see that there's a lot of dots on the screen, and that is because I went out and took care of all the individual water devil dens and different caves that there are on the map. So we have that taken care of now. We're gonna do a couple things today. Mainly I'm gonna be talking about the game itself. Battle of Stall is a very good thing. But... Where's sad but good? Where is it? There we go. Cool. So we're gonna be doing a couple things today. The The first being that well, first, I mean, mainly the whole point of today's stream is, as you can tell by the title, is the review. So I'm basically gonna be talking about the game, what I like about it, what I don't like about the game, what I kind of, just a lot of different things about it. But also, we have 146 members on this crew. So I just like to go around and give everyone kind of like an overview of just kind of what it looks like near endgame. Unfortunately, my recon guild almost made it to level 9, which I don't think would be that big of an issue or needed, but so close. But generally, this is if you get as pretty much everyone that you can, give or take a couple people, you can, this is the spread that I personally like when it comes to the guild building. You're more than welcome to change things as you see fit. I just think this one works the best for someone of my playstyle, given my party and everything like that, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. However though, as mentioned before, there's a lot of people on the ship, so I'd like to just walk around and see everybody on this ship. There's oh so many people. Yeah, so let's the ship itself is pretty big. So there's quite a lot to do in terms of running around. So we'll start here. I think this will be pretty good. So I'm not really gonna read everything. I'm just gonna kind of like leave everything on screen while I talk about the game and stuff like that, unless I notice something very funny or whatnot. So okay, so the Alliance Live HD, originally a 3DS game back in 2018, that was then announced for the HD port. Isn't your husband on the ship? And so when I originally picked up the game, I was looking for JRPGs to kind of expand the lifespan that was my 3DS, given that, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot to do with it. Ah, I didn't talk to the skeleton. I didn't talk to the skeleton, and I dropped my controller. So at the time, let's see, I attempted Mario and Luigi Dream Team, but I just had to drop it because it really wasn't doing it for me. Still to this day, the only JRPG I've ever technically dropped. So I was looking for other ones, and what came across me was Radiant Historia: Perfect Chronology, and that game was also really good. So I played that, and then I was like, oh, I wonder what else is on the market. And so, oh man, I really wish I had taken a picture, but also on Amazon, I saw that for like $35 or something like that, there was a game called The Alliance Live. I was like, huh, this looks interesting. And so I went on YouTube, just kind of looked at some gameplay and stuff like that, and saw that, you know, it was a turn-based system with similar mechanics to the Final Fantasy II level up system. And I was like, yo, that sounds really cool, because I quite like the way Final Fantasy II did its leveling up, and no one has really done it since because of just how controversial that it was at the time, where the more you use something, the better you get at it, which honestly makes a lot of sense, and I think works a lot better than traditional leveling up. I mean, leveling up in a traditional sense is nice, but I like the idea that if you do something over and over and over again, you're gonna get better at it. I think it leads to a different playthrough each and every time, and it's more catered to the individual person. So I picked up the game. Unknowingly, I got the deluxe release edition or something. Amazon did not tell me that. So I got the music CD and the art book along with it, and the art book contains all like the different towns and such, and that itself is, you know, they're all pretty, so that was nice. And I also have a Robin's keychain, which was awesome because I was like, oh, are we gonna get a penguin? Like, are we gonna get like a penguin party member? And lo and behold, we did. So I picked up that game and I fell in love quite instantly. I had a really, really good time. Right now we're at about 56 hours. My endgame time for the 3DS version was about 70 hours. So I did things a lot faster this time around. I also kind of did less grinding, like no one's at 500 yet, when normally I would be at 500. I also really, like, I kind of overgrinded a lot in the original just because I really had no idea what I was doing. And now that I know, I kind of figured it out and everything. So let's talk about what is good about the game. Or rather, maybe I should go in categories. So let's start with the easy stuff, the music. Masahashi Hamauzu, really good job. It's definitely not the strongest JRPG soundtrack in the world. There's definitely a lot of tracks that I'm just not really a fan of, like Junkyard and Wave Tower and all that. You know, not really the greatest things in the world. But the tracks that I think really are really strong end up being super good. And definitely Hamauzu killed it in many areas for this game. And after having played 13, it gave, oh, come on now. I found a newfound appreciation for his style. And seeing the dynamic themes and just kind of like the way he does music in his interesting techno orchestra sense made me really, really appreciate kind of what he does. In that orchestra themes are really good. I think it works in a lot of places, but having synths along with it to just kind of back it up allows for a lot more oomph in places that don't really get that oomph in the first place. So I really grew to enjoy Hamauzu. It's a small soundtrack, as was many other 3DS games and JRPGs on the handheld, but it's a really good one nonetheless. Of course, it would have been nicer to have better themes and a little bit more variety, but again, seeing that it's a lot of what you're gonna hear is that, well, because it was a 3DS RPG, and this wasn't really a remake, it was a remaster, just bringing the 3DS version onto Steam, Switch, and PS4, so clearly the game was fine enough as is that there really wasn't a need to do a whole lot with the music. It's fine enough as is. I think it works really well. What's next? All right, let's talk about art. So in terms of art, when on the 3DS, it was definitely not the greatest looking game. Arguably, Radiant Historia definitely looks a lot better than this game. So that in and of itself was something. However though, coming from Bravely Default and having it so that when you stand in a particular area, like, you know, the camera pans out, you can see the whole town. That was awesome. The idea of having each and every different realm be a different element was also really freaking cool. The Rain Realm ended up being, you know, one of my huge favorites. Rain Realm still to this day is definitely one of my favorite realms because I just love the aesthetic of, like, you know, raining realms and this, like, not the depression, but like that bleak mood that follows along with it. And I thought that was really cool the way they did it, because you have the Rain Realm, your starting area, kind of what you expect. Then you go to the Burning Realm, another kind of generally expected area. And then you hit the first turning point, and it's like, oh my god, like the Snow Realm. That looks really cool. And you do all that cool war stuff there with the fort and everything, and oh god, it's so much fun, right? And then you're like, well, alright, well I have fire, I have ice, I have water, so that means something like mountainous-like area or desert should be next. And what we end up getting is the Crystal Realm, which definitely took me by surprise in both versions. And then, of course, Demonia, the final area, which felt very, like, good for final areas. Like, you really feel a sense of progression with the art in this game. and I'll talk about that along with the story as well, but like you definitely feel like you kind of are working your way towards harder and bigger places and genuinely getting to explore the world. And of course, along with the art, I think, you know, battle areas are cool in their respective realms. Boss, you know, arenas are super cool. The way the camera does panning and all that fun stuff is like so cool. When you fight water devils inside the water devil dens, that's also really cool. The ether gears and all that fun stuff when you do their stuff. So there's a lot of things that are cool, and in the HD version, just adding that extra layer of crispness and just nice quality, especially to my character models, that was definitely a welcome change. Just seeing the proper detail for so many of the different things in this game. Like the weapons, like the Muse Lyre, we have the different spears. So there's not a whole lot in it, but for what we have, it's pretty, oh my. It is really good and really cool. I think this game falters though a little bit in terms of art in certain areas, like textures seem to still feel like they really only came from the 3DS. Which is kind of a shame in and of itself, because whenever they would have like group scenes, like there would be this weird like watercolor paint feeling that you would have, which is perfectly fine in and of itself. But it felt very 3DS-y and it didn't really transition a whole lot. And you can really see the stark difference between the characters and the models. And I think this room is a perfect example. I mean, look at the floors here. Clearly not anything superb in terms of the art, but the character models individually, you know, they all have their individual colors and details. And I think at least, you know, you can see the difference between people across the different realms. Like the beast folk and the humans and the demons. What did you say? So I think definitely this game had a unique world, to say the least, that felt very, in a way, classic to explore, but also very fresh to explore too, if that's the best way I could say it. There's a lot of good places and there's a lot of not so good places, but hey, and it kind of works out in the end. Like, definitely, like, in terms of art, I think the weakest area in and of itself, once again, is the Rainbow Tower, because it just really was such a weak area. There really wasn't a whole lot with it. I would say second weakest, almost, in fact, actually is this arc that we're on. I feel like it could have been used a whole lot more, but I'll go into that a little bit more in terms of overall experience and gameplay. And this, I'm talking about art right now, but definitely this is definitely the second weakest thing. Alright, those are two easy things out of the way. Art and music. Definitely on the shorter end things to talk about without totally going into nitpicks. But let's see, what should I talk about next? Gameplay or story? I think I'll tackle story. So, overall, the Alliance Alive, when you pick it up, it's nothing substantial with its story, and you can really tell that it just kind of just makes it. It definitely does a lot of a better job than The Legend of Legacy, which I haven't actually personally played, but it definitely, you know, clearly did a better job with characters and story in that regard. But definitely, there's the best way to say the story is that there's three parts to this story. You have the introduction, chapters 1 through 20, which, you know, introduces you to the game, introduces you to the battle mechanic, how equipment works, how talent works, and all this extra stuff. And you kind of get a general feeling of what's going on. You barely get introduced to the guilds, but you know they exist. And you get a sense of a feeling that this game isn't anything that special at first. Then you pass chapter 20 and you well, to say the least, within the first 20 chapters, you also do the junkyard section with Tiggy, Jean, and Tiggy, Vivian, and Ignis. And that was, you know, you're kind of like, oh, okay, so now we're mixing up characters, so that you kind of get this feeling like, oh, we're going to be playing many different characters. Hopefully they're all developed enough or matter to the greater story as a whole. And then you play as Jean and Rachel. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Because then you also have Barbarossa and Renzo. So you see all the main characters you need to at that point, not including Robins, Matilda, and Shiki, who definitely come in, you know, in the later areas. So you've seen all the characters at this point. You've seen how they like kind of begin to interact with each other, this whole thing. But you almost feel as if like, or rather, I at least felt like there's almost something missing in like the first 20-ish chapters. Like, it's kind of slow. There's not a whole lot going on. You kind of get an idea of what's going, you know, what you're supposed to do. You get an understanding that Galil and Azura's, well, Galil's main goal, along with Azura, is to show Azura, you know, a blue sky. Tiggy and Vivian are basically researching the world and have hopes to eventually get rid of the dark current that's separating the world, and Ignis is just kind of following along because that's his job. Jean's doing his own thing, and Rachel's just along for the ride to make money. So they all have their individual motives, and I think they're very strong as is. I know the way I explain it definitely makes it seem like that they're not very strong, but definitely they're strong motives nonetheless. And so it's like, alright, you know, this is cool. And then you get the arc for the first time. And you get to explore, and you get to see all the different islands and the lands. You get to go to the beauty cave and the burning realm. You get to go check out some of the houses in the cage realm. Oh yeah, I forgot the cage realm. That's also a weak area too. Don't worry about it. Not really. We're gonna be going there in just a little bit here anyway, but you know, you get to see all these things in the cage realm. You get to see stuff in the rain realm, and it's all cool, and it looks really good, you know, the HD version. And then you hit up the snow realm, and it's like you get to interact with these people, Yukiha and Juza, and you do the whole thing there with the war and stuff like that. And on its own, it's like, whoa, that was, you know, it's like, whoa, that was a really good section. It was really well developed. You get more character development. You see that people aren't that really comfortable with, you know, demons on that side of the world versus on this side of the world. It's all beast folk hating on humans and like, yeah, you know, demon kind, woo, beast folk kind, woo, but humans, god dang, they suck, you know, in Solana. Versus in Gears Rock, you know, no one really gives a crap. There seems to be more humans than beast folk there anyway, but you can tell that beast folk really hate humans still. Then in the Snow Realm, it's like, oh my god, demons, no, they're evil people, so we gotta, you know, do stuff with them. Right? So that whole thing happens, and throughout all this, your main goal now is to defeat the Ether Gears across the world so that you can destroy the Dark Current so that the entire world can effectively be reborn, seeing as the other Ether Gears brought back peace to the other realms, like with the Burning Realm and the Rain Realm in terms of changing the overall weather. So now we have a motive, and we're doing said motive, and we continue that motive while also taking a very interesting short pause from said motive to help the people in the Snow Realm, which in and of itself is one of my favorite sections in the game. And then you head over to the Crystal Realm. And the Crystal Realm, you know, you're going there doing your own main thing as the group. And we see again, there's weird tensions between the demons and the humans and whatnot. And we, you know, we definitely see that now it's not so much, this time it's not so much just general opinions, but it is the works of Rouge and, oh god, what's her name? What is her name? We're gonna go find out. I don't think I have it, but it might be here. What's her name? The big bad, basically. What's her name? Batter. Not Faust. I guess I don't have it. And so now at this point, like, you get more ingrained with the plot, and it's just an uphill plot from here, in my opinion. And that's, you know, that's part 2, and then part 3, along with the Crystal Realm, part 3 is the final thing, and everything from Demonia onwards is like the coolest actual thing in the world. And so, it's not the strongest plot in the world. It definitely isn't. But once you pass that first point, where the Alliance Alive stops being traditional and becomes its own entity, it picks up. And it does so in a very good way. You know, each individual character with their individual dialogues and individual motives I think comes through very, very well. Especially coming from the fact that it was a handheld RPG. Every character kind of had a say in things, every character kind of had their uses, like Jean definitely would do the talking in many places, other people would do the fighting in many places, Barbarossa has his thing in the Snow Realm. So everyone kind of feels like they belong within this party. No one really feels like that they don't. They're just kind of there. Even Ignis and Renzo, who clearly are like the, you know, not very talk. I mean, Renzo talks more than Ignis, but, you know, even those two have purpose in the party. And I can't really say much about Robins, Matilda, and Shiki because they're really just there for support because they are truly optional party members. They're not really going to have a whole lot of say in the main plot of the world. In and of itself. Picture. What? Cool. That's new, I think. So it's one of those things that I genuinely do enjoy, and I think if this game had a remake or, you know, a reworking, I know that they probably would have added a whole lot. But for what it was worth on a handheld, it was definitely a very enjoyable plot, especially in the latter third of the game. I don't do reviews often, so I don't really know what exactly I should be saying without questions and whatnot, but, you know, I'm kind of just going off of the overall plot purpose in and of itself. And I think one thing to bring up with the plot and the characters is that because you have so many characters and that you can put them in any set of 5 you want, they really do kind of feel like their own real journey. In my opinion, I think Galil and Azura should be at the front because you start with them, and for them this kind of feels like their journey. In that regard, Renzo and Barbarossa are just there just to make sure that they're for support. You could also put someone like Tiggy, Vivian, and Ignis in the front because they have their motives as well to take down the Ether Gears, expose the Dark Current for what it is, and generally get more knowledge upon the world itself. You could also put Jean in the front, along with Rachel, you know, because they're just going around doing who knows what. They're there for their own motives. So it ends up being kind of really cool for the player character itself because you can kind of build and go with whatever you want, if you so want to. And on top of the fact, which we're going to go into in a second, that you have all these different classes that you can spec into, there's a lot of cool things you can do with that in and of itself. And there's never really a point where I really felt like the dialogue was too much or too confusing or not enough. I mean, definitely, of course, I wish there were moments of more dialogue. Absolutely. But for what it's worth, it makes up for a very enjoyable experience. In so much as the fact that they actually built this whole idea of ether and signimacy and so much extra stuff that it's like really, really cool. And since we're on the topic, the guild system. As I said previously many times, and I kind of screwed up the way I kind of screwed up the links because now I'm out of guild masters, so the Crystal Realm doesn't have a lot of linkage, so I don't have worldwide support. But so long as I'm in one of these 3 realms, I do have worldwide support. But considering the guilds is a thing that I just thought you really wouldn't technically see in a handheld RPG. You see these sorts of things in, you know, console RPGs and everything of that sort. Southwest. And so I really appreciate that the NPCs of this world actually do something. You know, they contribute to the guilds, they allow you to get stat bonuses with the guilds, and it really shows that the entire world here is actually trying to help save the world. Not something NPCs in other games really do. And I think that adds to the overall plot in of itself. Like, hey, the whole world is helping you. And so they genuinely feel nice to have around. And the fact that you can place the guilds wherever you want, there's 146 people that I have. Like, that's a lot of people when you really put it into perspective. Where am I going? What else can I say about the plot and characters? Not a whole lot, really. It's just good. It's enjoyable. Do I think it could have been better? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as strong as Rei and Historia's plot, that's for sure. I think that also, I mean, that kind of is a no-brainer there. That, you know, it's not as strong as Radiant Historia, but it's not bad, I would say. It's not a strong point of the game, but for what it is, it's pretty good. I think, yeah. Don't think I can really beat a dead horse any further on that one. So, now for the fun one, let's talk about the gameplay. Once I find this monster. North of the... On the southern side of the gap. What does that mean? You? Oh yeah. Let's talk the bad first. first, because I've been only saying good. Let's talk about bad first. So I think there's a lot that's in this game that's very underutilized, and I think I talked about this in Liquid before. There's almost too much in this game. South of North Cape Cove, okay. So, like, let's go through everything this game has in terms of gameplay. You have equipment, 2 weapons that you can hold, a head piece, a body piece, an arm piece, a feet piece, 2 accessories, all with their own individual weights. You have talents for your specific class that you want to go into. You have arts, which are your main moves. You have the formation system. And you have 5 individual stats. There is a lot in this game. And not only with these 5 stats, you have 8 different types of resistances. Slash, crush, pierce types of damage types, heat, cold, shock, light, and in terms of elemental statuses, but also status in and of itself. And there's resistances: stun, sleep, poison, confuse, acuity, which you barely see, berserk, petrify, which also you barely see in this game if at all, and KO. So one of the things that I generally just find appalling about this game is that it's all very like underutilized, in that you never really see me change equipment a whole lot to spec into something. You just kind of get whatever gives you the most defense to armor ratio. You get, you know, good accessories that help you with your stats and whatnot. But I mean, that also just doesn't really matter a whole lot. There's so many accessories, there's so many pieces of armor. There's like not like so many, but there's quite a lot. And so, at the end of the day, it becomes like, there's really no point to the equipment system if it's in and of itself in this game. Like, there really isn't. And that's kind of sad. Like, it barely matters what you do in terms of stats because it doesn't. In terms of arts, there's really not a whole lot of variety with them because you're just gonna be using whatever you can afford and whatever's the strongest at that point. You're not really encouraged to use other things because there's no point. You're gonna make those moves stronger because you use them the most. And then you're not going to use others because they just don't do enough damage and it's too dangerous otherwise to use anything else. Unless, you know, you kind of play in a way where you know, randomly choose moves. But you're not going to do that either. I mean, let's look at my arts that I've just overall sealed. Like, you have all these moves that I've just kind of like sealed. Yeah, I'm gonna probably unseal you. I mean, at least you can seal them away, so you can get so your main moves are stronger. But like, it seems kind of weird that you would need to do that in the first place, right? Like, I need to get this one stronger. And you have the position levels, right? So there's position leveling too. That you, there's it just like it comes off as so much that on one hand it makes sense because now you can really play the way you want to, which is fine ish. Like, you don't really have to care about it, but it kind of feels like, man, if only it did matter. Like, statuses, not really a big deal. Like, at all. Like, oh, a guy got stunned, stun only lasts for 1 turn. A guy got poisoned, I can just heal him enough and he'll be fine. So it's like, why should that matter? You never really see some of the other statuses. There's no really point of optimizing. I mean, you can optimize for defense and stuff like that, and a little bit. Like, I kind of do that for Galil, but there's really no point in terms of the main enemy fodder. Yeah, it's hard at first because you don't have the right equipment. Once you get like a base set of good equipment, like you're good from there. And you have good arts that you've spec'd into, like you're good to go. So it just feels like there's so much in this game that just feels so underutilized because they try to pack so much into it. That's like, yeah, you know, someone will do something, like someone will make an all this build, someone will make all of, you know, all of EA build and whatnot. But you can tell that where it kind of falters. Along with blacksmithing weapons, buying weapons with Chaosium gems, and yeah, god, there's so much. However, though, in a more positive light, is this game fun? Absolutely, it's fun. Absolutely. If you just you don't need, like, you could take this in 2 different ways. How can I be north of the junkyard? What? Oh, over here. Yeah. You can take this in the way of casual, where you just kind of go with the game tells you. Yeah, spec into what you want, and you're good to go. You don't really need to think a whole lot into it. Or you could optimize for a lot of things. But the problem with optimizing is there's really no reason to. You don't really have a reason in this game to do so. Because you have things like Ignition, which just decimate bosses. I mean, you don't have to use it, but you're probably gonna use it, else you're gonna die. West of Mountain Hot Spring, okay. Mountain Hot Spring is over somewhere right here. So if you get, that's another one of the negatives, is the way this game balances things. Like enemies, main fodder, hard at first, easy later, and then bosses, really, really fun, not that hard, and then you have water devils, which are almost too hard and not really that fun. So it's like, eh. But overall, I think this game is really good in the sense of, how do I want to say this? I appreciate that they at least took a risk. West of the... It's a lizard. I appreciate that they took a risk in trying to do the Final Fantasy II level up system. I think it worked out really well for them, to be honest. I think the talent point system is really, really good. I will not deny that in the slightest. I like that you can spec characters into a class. I like that you can put them in different formations, and where you put them in actually affects the amount of damage that you do, and the amount of talents that you have actually matter. I think there's a lot of cool things in this game. I really, really do. I love just the general feel of battling, where, yeah, grinding never really feels boring because even you can't just auto battle through everything because anything can change at any time. The lizard. It's a bird. I really should have wrote this stuff out, shouldn't I? No. Plateau southeast of Blue's Oasis. It's a lizard. Might have already killed you, actually. No, I definitely did not kill you. There you are. Like, I appreciate enemy details, that you can see all these things once you've analyzed them. I appreciate that you can see 2 SP plus turn, 30% SP restored, growth rate, all that fun stuff, your threat is higher and stuff like that. Then I can check like, hey, I get damage up because they're at the front. It's a front short skill, damage 120%. And then that's 100%. Like, that works out really well. The auto battle isn't perfect in this game, but it works out really well. So overall, it's a very enjoyable game. It leaves a lot to be desired, but man, oh man, I never feel bored while grinding. Yeah, I put on like a TV show on the side, but I never feel bored while grinding because anything can happen. I think there's an interesting, good progression system with the way that you feel like you are genuinely getting stronger with the individual characters in the game. I like the spells in this game. I like the way positions. I do enjoy everything this game has to offer. And the one thing I will say though is that would this game kind of, it's not very I think one thing that definitely needs to be said though is that it's not very approachable. Have any more to people who aren't very used to JRPGs. I would never in a million years recommend this as someone's first JRPG. I think there's too much here that you're gonna get overwhelmed. You're definitely gonna get overwhelmed. West of Pandemonium. Earth? Wait, there's one at, what? I didn't do you? Oh, this is the, okay, this is, I was gonna say, wait a minute, hold on now. I think I just took care of all of them. But if you are aware of how JRPGs work in terms of their tropes, kind of like how status effects works, and how they can get a little bit complicated at times, I think there's a lot here. That ends up being a whole lot of fun for people. It's really, I don't know, I'm bad at putting it into words. Probably if I had a script, I'd do a much better job with it and really thought about it, but I think what I'm generally trying to say is that this game is a lot of fun to play. It feels good, it feels fresh. I have no idea what island they're talking about. Island west of Pandemonium. It's like 2. And these are north. It's definitely not here. Maybe I already took care of it. Whatever. Island north of Beauty Cave. The Guild Tower? Okay. I would also definitely pick up this version. I would not recommend the 3DS version. The graphics and just general quality of life outweigh it. Like, this guidebook here is like your holy bible for this game. If you are new to this, read this. This will be like the thing you need to This is advice from a certain predecessor that will prove useful in battle. So, like, read these tips. And it proves for a very, very, very fun experience, in my opinion. So I still give this game definitely a 9 if I were to put it on like a 10 scale. Northwest of Volcanic Ruins. Highest... on the highest cliff. So this one? Yep. So if you know JRPGs and you're looking for something a bit fresh, but nothing, you know, game of the year, I would check this game out, honestly. I think there's a lot that this game has to offer. And I followed a guide, not for the story, but for the optional stuff. Like, I'm just looking at it and highlighting things, so I just check it off. There's a lot in this game. There's these special monsters that we're fighting now, there's weapons, there's armor, there's spells, there's arts, there's the guild stuff, there's the side quests that we did before. Like, there's a lot to keep track of, so there's a great Google sheet out there that you can look up. I would definitely use it. There's a lot to do in this game, and I don't... Oh, you! Yeah, we lost you one time. Oh, in the lava. Haha, I can't read. Alright. Bad reviewing aside, the TLDR of it is this game is fun. This game is good. And I recommend it to anyone looking for a unique experience in a JRPG. It's nothing groundbreaking, but thank God they made it. And I look forward to games that do different things like Bravely Default and the Alliance Alive and just kind of revitalizing the classic formulas, but with a modern twist. I'm not saying we need, you know, classics to be, you know, done over and over and over again. You know, like, I'm not saying any of that. What I am saying is if there's a formula from the past, which is the Final Fantasy V job system, you know, Final Fantasy II level up system, you know, just take it and bring it to a modern flair. The dialogue in this game, the character interaction in this game is what you really would want from a modern JRPG. The story is nothing crazy, but that's okay. The gameplay is definitely something that feels fresh in a classic way. It's nice, it's fun, and it's cool to just kind of play, because, you know, maybe you don't want to play the next AAA game. That's okay. Maybe you just want a JRPG that you can sink hours upon hours into. Yes, do you have to grind in this game? Absolutely. Is it boring to grind? Not really. Ramp on the island northwest of Pandemonium. Northeast, I mean. Ramp on the island northeast. Ramp on the island north. What the frick? Definitely not you. What? Oh, hang on. I guess it's northeast. Here? Not you, is it? Definitely not. Yeah, there's hard parts about this game, and there's also easy parts about this game. That's kind of any game. Balancing is weird, but it's not terrible. You? No. Shit, it might actually be you. Well, it says flying required. Ramp on the island northeast of Pandemonium. Well, what's Pandemonium? Northeast. Yeah, legit, like right here. Ah, there. Gotcha. I wish I had people asking me questions about this game so I could get better review / feedback, but this game definitely has like a niche. Hey, Awaken. What move is that? Oh, fantastic. Oh yeah, I also like how you regain HP at the end of every fight, so you start each fight with full HP. That's very helpful and honestly nice, because you don't need to keep using potions and spells just to, you know, do things. Oh yeah, by the way, the K-Drum on the 3DS version was really bad. You couldn't see anything. Just saying that right now. It was really bad. Dead end to the southwest of Bastille. Where's Bastille? Bastille. Southwest. What? Irish? Oh yeah, the SMS system? That's awesome, right? So there's little pieces of charm in this game just scattered all around that you don't really see in modern JRPGs. Ow. Dead end to the southwest. What? Okay, what are you? Sealers Prime. Oh, okay. Got you. Ah, you know what? I forgot I need to do something, actually. Let's take care of that now. There's one optional thing I forgot to do. I forgot to do it even in the last stream. I'm gonna do it now. When you have all 4 of the items that you need to go to Blue's Oasis, you come to the temporal pause. The Zhuishui Charm, I'm sorry for my butchering, Qigong Rosary, Revolution Stone, and Lost Shield are glowing. What the heck? Whoa! Who is it? Who has caused time to move for me once more? Was that someone's voice? Vince? Even after 1,000 years, you've made no progress. Ah, I don't like her already. She's probably cranky from waking up. So, who the hell are you? Probably a demon. Could it be? Are you Lady Charlotte? Oh, I'm surprised you know my name. From the looks of it, are you a second-generation demon? Yes, that is correct. I'm Vivian von Esmeraude, of the noble Esmeraude family. It is an honor to meet you, Lady Charlotte. Oh, you know her, Vivian? Yes, she's the queen of the Montmorency family, the highest-ranking royalty among demon nobility. I can't be too sure, but she seems like some self-important demon to me. That's not the case at all. Lady Charlotte really is important. Shut up, doggy. I don't care about who's important or not among the demons. And I don't care for you humans either. But how were you able to get time to move for me again? These 4 items suddenly started glowing. That means their powers must have been activated. I see. In the end, I was the only one who was able to escape the Great Barrier. What do you mean? Nothing. Well, now that I'm able to move again, stay and talk with me for a bit. I want to hear what's going on outside. Yes, it would be my pleasure. Well then, Ignis, please prepare the tea. Of course. Vivian and everyone explained what happened until now to Charlotte. I see. Well, what happens to the surface doesn't matter to me at this point. But I don't plan on returning to Demonia for a while. I shall deign to help you for a little while. After all, you'll end up dead if all you can use are weak, inferior spells. Much appreciated, my lady. Thank you, you're too kind. It bugs me how these two treat her like royalty. Yeah, it's like we don't even exist. Yep. Well, it was interesting to see how demon nobility formally interact. I guess it's one of those societies where everyone's clearly ranked. It's so stifling and awkward. Rah! Charlotte has been added as a candidate. Oh, I get one more guildmaster. What do you want? Let's purchase some sorcery. Robins! So all the different finals or ignition spells that you can use, except for Angel 12 or whatever it's called, you can buy and equip to Robins or whoever, you know, is a spellcaster, which is awesome. Miyako 12, Elder Judge, Sensitive Rain, Mad Cyclone. These are all really good spells. They're really expensive though, but man, they're good. I'll have you know, you can't be relying on those items forever. If you truly understand sorcery, then you should be able to make that power your own. Was the Great Barrier established to accelerate human growth? What? No, that's nonsense. That thing will bring nothing but death! Oh yeah, Kowalsa, that's what his name was. There's not much I can tell you about him. I can say that both demons and humans are considered equal in his eyes. He's always been like that. Blue is simply a realist. He doesn't really have any ideals. If he still remains on the surface, even after they made the Great Bear, then I suppose he feels somewhat responsible. Well, whatever he does, you can be sure that it's all part of his plan. He's a very shrewd and cunning man. Hey, Chip. Eat... I don't know. Something. What do you got in the house? Let's start with that question. Alright, that's what you're eating. Okay, bye. Have fun. Giant bonefish. Well, I feel like it'd be pretty easy to spot a gigantic bonefish. Where are you? Miasma giant. Beep bop, beep bop. So yeah, so many things. Fragments of Shield of Light reform into a magic shield that only reacts to attacks toward a single person. What? Interesting. Is that like Mighty Guard? Shimmering Rainfalls replenish the HP of all enemies and allies who aren't in the... Okay, yeah, we've seen that. Elder Judge. La Dance Macabre, which is so good. It's such a good spell. Xanthropy. Transform yourself into a beast. Heals your HP and... I want to check this out. If I don't kill him first. So I didn't really do anything. Hey, Snow. The interface feels kind of bravely defaulty. Yeah, so, being that it is now on not the 3DS, there's definitely an interesting kind of layout that they had to do for this game. It's one that it actually brings up a good point on how I'm gonna miss a lot of those 3DS RPGs because of, this should be the Drifter. Yep, that's the Drifter. I'm gonna miss those because, like, everything now is on one screen, but like there was something really cool about the 3DS in that the map and all these menus and stuff like that was on the bottom screen out of the way, so the top screen was just dedicated to looking good. Yeah, I gotta get Dirty Rain to be stronger. Oh yeah, the fact that this game also gives you auto battle and not one time, two time, but also 4 time speed for battles. Yeah, grinding really isn't boring in this game. Trust me, it's really not. Oh, I got armor. Yeah, armor in this game is weird because it's like, as I was saying with equipment, you really have no reason to use these huge pieces of armor because they increase your weight so much. It makes your turn go like very later. Yeah, they give you good stats, but I mean, I'm wearing the Shogun armor, which is a lighter piece of equipment, then I still get good resistances. Barely do I ever give people heavy pieces of equipment. I just use hat. I don't even use helmets. I use hat, these shawl-like things, and gloves. Never do I really give them, you know, heavy equipment because there's really no need to. Like, these are fine enough as is for the light amount of equipment because it's all gonna add up. Your weight's gonna be heavy enough as is because of your weapons. There was kind of a recommendation I remember seeing back on old GameFAQs, which was like, carry one weapon at all times. Until you're at a boss, then, you know, bring out the second one. But this time, what I did was I said screw that because now that I kind of know this game, I just carried 2 of them and made my stats and everything go based off of that, and made my playstyle go off of that, knowing the fact that I have 2 weapons in hand, because one of them is definitely going to be used for ignition, so that I can, you know, make boss fights a lot easier. Do I need to use ignition? Not really. Is it nice? Absolutely. Penguin! Cute! Yes, there's a penguin in this JRPG. South of Mountain Prison, alright. And in the beach east of the Tactics Guild Tower. Beach? Oh, nice. Yeah, fun facts, no, that penguin is an optional party member that you can get. You basically save his son from a cave, and he allocates to join you. And he ends up being one of the best melee slash, not best melee, but like a really good melee slash sorcery user. Those penguins are cool. Is this the giant bonefish? No, these are wild pegs. It's not even on the list. No, it is. Idle Moa. There it is. Oh god, this one's actually kind of a thing, because there's so many enemies. But we have you know, we have big things that we can use, like Miyako 12. These birds have a lot of health. I remember like not being able to beat these guys back in oh my god, I actually take no damage. This is good. Man, the 3DS version, I did so bad against these guys. Just goes to show how much a second playthrough really helps. Bam! Alright. Let's see, what else can we try? Frozen Tome we've seen, La Dance Macabre, which is super good. Shadow Wave, huh? Let's check this one out. Also, the fact that the guild supports you in battle is awesome. Kind of makes you wish the enemies were a little bit harder then, but it works out in the end. You feel good. Actually, when you're not as strong as I am right now during game, it actually does help to have the what is it? The guilds helping you out. Definitely so. Why did I use Swift Avalanche when I have Screw Charge, which does the exact same thing? I don't know. Bam. 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 Bam! Nice. Alright, 2 more for this area. Damn it. Da 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 da. Beach east of Tactics. Where's the Tactics Tower? I just gotta go east. Oh, it's on the other side of this damn thing. Hello? Is it you? Nope, it's that guy over there. Lady Peg, Mega Sealorus, and Lizard Lord. None of the ones I need beat, but they're definitely unique enemies nonetheless. KO! Nice. Oh yeah, and let me talk about items. There's so many of these that you don't even need. Use so many of these that you don't even need. Like, you don't need any of this stuff. You barely use these once you have strong enough Signimacy. They're nice at the beginning, but man, you like never need these. So it's like, why even have them there in the first place? I guess they're helpful, but like, you really shouldn't be going into this game without a Signimacy user. So like, I don't know what you're doing in that regard. Also, I think this game, not that many people do this in the first place, but if you enjoyed it the first time, definitely give it a New Game Plus treatment. Going into a game a second time, with the first one being the whole learning thing, you really figure out a game sometimes by endgame, and by that time the game is over. So you kind of hope there's post-game to kind of like make up for it. But in reality, if you go back through a game again once you've, you know, figured it all out, maybe not instantaneously. I don't like really playing RPGs right after I've beaten it, unless it's like super good. Like I just like have to play it again. Dead End to the southwest of Bastille. I really am not gonna be able to find this, am I? Well, let's walk around in the meantime. Definitely checking out a JRPG again for the second time. Helps a lot. Because that's the Bastille. These are the catacombs. And I'm going southwest, which is that way. This one? Yeah, it is. Alright, Cage Realm enemies are done. Now I have to do the Snow Realm and the Crystal Realm. What are my achievements like? $70 hours total according to Steam. I have 17 of 35. Nice. Destroy all Big Stone monsters that we're doing right now. Obtain 500,000, so probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Acquire 100,000 talent points. I hope these are cumulative. Seal all Water Devil dens. I thought I did this, so I may have to go hunting again. Scout all recruits, that needs a New Game Plus. Reach the top rank with any guild. At this point, New Game Plus. Learn all sigils, New Game Plus. Learn all sorcery, New Game Plus, technically. Battle ARPs, New Game Plus at this point. I thought I got all maps. I wonder what I'm missing. Chaosium gems, and then 6 secret ones. Alright, so, I mean, that just kind of shows you what there is to do in this game. What Water Devil den did I miss? Like, everything on the map has a dot. Is it an Eshtern? I swear to God. Or the Crystal Realm? Oh, those level 5s might actually count too, because technically they're not sealed. Right? Let me check. There's a speedrun trophy in this game? Dang. Yeah, I need to clear the level 5s. That's okay. I'm not going for 100% anyway, so it's not like the end of the world. To the Snow Realm! Now we're ready to care the Snow King. I feel like I took down Queen Chill already. Yes, Recon Guild level 9. Cool. Oh, I didn't get the link. I thought this would link. Damn it. Da, 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 da. Let's look for Queen Shell. Yeah, I got Queen Shell. And Queen Flitter. Okay, cool. That's nice. Cool. Well, I'm making good progress here. So yes, so the reason I'm doing Alone Still Alive today, not the new project, is because I'm going to be going back to my parents' house for a month. And I will not have my streaming equipment with me. So we're going to be taking a month break of streaming. No, sad indeed. Western Island with the Guild Tower. Oh man, I gotta fly again. So, but when I come back, the next 2 projects will begin. I haven't really figured out what I want the second project to be. Western Island with the Guild Tower. Oh god. I know what the first one is. I don't really know what the second one is. I'm like back and forth between what I want to do, and there's also the matter of whether or not Guavs or Liquid want to be on one of them. And there might be a side third project because Liquid and I definitely do at one point want to beat Corpse Party, the sequel. It would be nice, if at all possible. So, northeast of Penguin Cave. Penguin Cave is over here. North, what? Northeast. It's up here. So I'm looking to get that going again as well. Nice train, buddy. But I need to talk to Liquid on that one and see just kind of like Drift King. What? Mad King. Oh, the Kings. Ha! I see. Okay. It's labeled as Kings in the guide, so I was a bit confused, but that makes sense. So I need to talk to Liquid and see how he wants to handle that one. Whether it be like a bi-weekly thing, a monthly thing, or we just kind of like stream. It really depends on his schedule too. And then, you know, on the off chances that we don't do it, then I'll probably do Project 1 and maybe Project 2. I don't really know yet. I might also just do one project at a time. Or what I can do is stream earlier by an hour so that I get like 2 hours, 2.5 hours of Project A and 2.5 hours of Project B. If you guys have recommendations, you can let me know, please. Feel free to just let me know what, you know, would maybe be more interesting for you guys. East of the Guild Tower point that's south of Snow Peak Cave. Alright, well first let's find Snow Peak Cave. East of the Guild Tower point that's south of Snow... what? Here. So the options really would be is like one game until completion, kind of what I'm doing now, one game every other week for like 4 hours, or 4.5 to 5 hour stream with the first half dedicated to game A and the second half dedicated to game B. I'm down for both. One is a bit harder to archive than the other. Like, doing the both games at a time is a bit hard to archive. And I'm getting a call from parents again, so I'm gonna take that real quick. And we're back. Always pick up with your oh man, they died. That's annoying. I thought we would have been able to make it. Oh, that did like nothing. There we go. The heck? Yeah. All right. That actually was timed really well because we just finished all the monster symbols. And I did not get an achievement for that. Yeah. Am I missing one? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but... I mean, I got them all. Well... That's cool, I guess. A perfect information network. Yeah. Yeah. Did I get new formation stuff? Because I think you leveled up, right? Pillbox. Nice. I'll keep you like that. Strike. A person lets you act last but deal more damage. I actually might give that to, because you're already delayed. I might give you that. And aftercare. Greatly increases, I mean, healing itself is fine. And whatnot, but... Alright. Anything else I want to do? Let's see. In this game. I might store some, maybe not. No, I think we've reached it. We have definitely reached the conclusion. No more guilds to get, so let's do one final rest. There's definitely more to do in this game. New Game Plus and EX Game Plus. One involves you doing a complete thing from scratch with, you know, added things. EX Plus lets you carry over a lot of things and whatnot. Man, it always is kind of sentimental when you leave a JRPG because you get so ingrained with the world and it's all so much fun and happiness, but... Let's go back to where it all began. As I said last time, this has been the Alliance Alive HD. I thank you all for who have joined me in this journey, to Liquid, to Guavs, and all those who watched over the times, and for those watching this archive many times in the future. Thank you very much. I genuinely really enjoy this game. It's a JRPG that I really think if you really want something different for a JRPG, something a bit fresh, something a bit different, nothing super great, but nothing terrible whatsoever, please give this game a check. It deserves a lot more love than it already has, and I think holds a special place in many people's hearts, and I would like to spread that to more and more people. I'll be taking a break from streaming for about a month or so, but I do have some more Touhou videos potentially coming up, so be on the lookout for those. But when we come back, we're gonna be starting some new things, and oh yay, so exciting! I'm very excited for the next one as well. But of course, all good things must come to an end, and now we say goodbye to the Alliance Alive. My name is Golden Jumper 730, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.